Welcome, everybody. We are doing a live stream analysis of the Bungie Court of Oryx stream today. Hopefully the setup is good to go. Hopefully the audio is good as well. I won't be using the stream audio again, just in case legal issues happen. So no worries, but we got the video here, courtesy of Planet Destiny. Thank you very much. And we're just gonna go ahead and break this down, just like last week. The Shield Brothers strike breakdown analysis stream. So let's just jump right in. And feel free, please. I have chat on the screen. You can see it above me. That's what that white box is. That's the chat. So if you have anything to add or correct, if I make a mistake, please let me know in the chat. So yes, let's jump right in. Right off the bat, they show the sword. There are different swords. There's not just one sword in Destiny, the Taken King, and this is awesome. And we find out that you can't really get these from a loot drop. You actually have to go out into the world and complete a quest to, I guess, piece them together. And we can see kind of right here the blade and this little shard right here and the hilt of the sword. They look to be like different pieces, so maybe we have to go out and find different pieces of each one of these, each one of the sword to build it. So that's really awesome. And we can see here that this one's particularly an exotic sword, does solar damage, and it has 310 attack. 310 attack is the highest we've seen so far. Legendary weapons that we've seen in previous streams, the highest we can be is, or the highest we've seen is like 290, something like that. So having I think exotic weapons will have higher attack values than legendaries. That's my impression, but maybe legendaries can go above 300 as well. we know about the infusion systems where we can use different weapons to power up other weapons. So maybe infusion can help legendaries go above 300 attack. So we don't know exactly how that's going to work, but that's really awesome. Let's break down the different stats of the sword: speed, impact, range, efficiency, defense, and energy. So speed is the rate at which you attack. I think they do a mouse over real quick. Let's go ahead and hit play on the stream here. Should be a cutscene associated with forge process, in my opinion. Yeah, that would be really awesome, actually. Ooh, let's go back just a tad. Just a tad. Just a tad. Okay. She mouses over them a little bit quick here. Infuse. We can still infuse exotic swords. That's confirmed. We will need an exotic shard, weapon parts, glimmer, and legendary marks as well. So an exotic shard, we don't know if we'll need, because when they did the infusion in the year 2 stream, you actually clicked on select. They actually hit the X button, or A if you're on Xbox, and they actually it pulled up a little menu and said you can use these weapons to infuse the weapon you're currently holding. And that's I don't know if maybe for the exotic sword we can hit select, it'll pull up. We don't know if we can use legendaries to infuse exotic weapons. Maybe you only need exotic weapons to infuse other exotic weapons. So maybe that's the case in terms of the exotic shard, or maybe it's just like that, super easy to infuse an exotic weapon as well. Tempered light, increased armor when wielding the sword. So the melee of the sword makes you a little bit more vulnerable. So when you're holding the sword, you get more armor, which increases your effective health against enemies. So using the sword, you won't die as quickly as wielding like the Sword of Crota. So maybe when you use this sword, Crota won't one-shot you anymore. No, I'm just kidding. Crota's dead. That's why we fight Oryx now. If we can infuse this sword, how high will the attack value reach? 310 is already much higher than what we've seen. Yeah, that's actually really interesting, Irish. And Stains by Kingsby, exotic sword might be really hard to get. Legendary swords, maybe not so much. But 310 attack is really high, so we don't know if there's a cap on infusion yet. Maybe we will get to go, like BBK Dragoon just said, 350. So we don't know, and we don't know if exotics will have higher attack ratings or not. Just something to think about. So increased armor when wielding the sword, tempered light. So thrive by the sword, kills with the sword grant super energy. And hang on, my AC is pretty low, so I need to put on a jacket. Kills with the sword grant super energy, obviously. I mean, I don't think we really need a perk for that. It's really interesting they have 2 different trees on the sword. We don't know what these nodes do, or maybe she mouses over them or not. But kills with the sword grant super energy. Maybe it's just increased super energy because killing regular things with regular guns grants super energy as well. So maybe this means it's a little bit of an increased super generation. Phoenix uppercut. Use right trigger to launch into a solar light uppercut. So Sword of Crota, Blades of Crota in current Destiny, Dark Below, House of Wolves, and right now, you use the right trigger to do the sword slam attack. Every single sword you pick up has the exact same attacks in current Destiny. In the Taken King, it seems like for this particular weapon, it has a specific right trigger slam or right trigger attack because this one's an uppercut instead of the regular downward slam. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. So I'd imagine that infused bubble will disappear after max, like Ascension. Yes, that would make sense. That would make total sense. It will let you know that you can't infuse the weapon anymore. So it looks like from the Phoenix Uppercut perk right here that we don't have, or that we will have different right trigger abilities. So that's going to be super awesome because it just makes swords fun to use. It makes them, you know, unique. Well, that's the word. All right. Warrior of Light, increase damage with your right trigger attack. So once you unlock this uppercut ability, the next ability is that it increases the damage there. So I guess that's pretty cool. It makes swords are heavy weapons. Obviously, they're gonna dish out massive amounts of damage. That's awesome. I'm excited about that. It makes swords. Yes, thank you. I'm so excited we have swords right now. Let's go. Attack. Blah blah blah. Efficiency. Okay, so we got a mouse over to the efficiency. Energy lost when landing attacks with this weapon. So, what I talked about last stream with the Sunbreaker Titan, it looks like you lost about a fifth of your super energy whenever you threw a hammer, but there's no ammo counter, so you can technically just keep throwing hammers until your super energy runs out. Efficiency determines how much heavy ammo or heavy ammo charge that your sword uses. So say you have 100, you have a full 100 charge of your sword. We don't know if 100, that's just an example, that's just the number I'm throwing out. And you have really low efficiency on your sword. So every time you use an ability on your sword, you lose 30 heavy charge from your sword, which drops it down. You can only use your sword attack 3 times. That's not very efficient. So higher efficiency means you can use different abilities from your sword more often. So I imagine exotic swords will have higher efficiency than legendaries. So that's gonna be awesome. Did anyone see how much damage she was hitting with the sword? We will find out a little bit later on in this analysis. Thanks for joining, BBK. Oh, let's go back just a little bit. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for the move. Let's, I could slow it down, I guess, from YouTube. Defense, damage reduction while using this weapon. So we saw here this first node is increased armor whenever you wield the sword. So defense, your sword has a defense rating as well. So I think that will interlock. So some swords might have lower defense, making you more vulnerable. Some swords might have higher defense, making you, a lot tankier. So yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a good time. Energy. How many attacks can be launched before energy is depleted? This one's interesting because it kind of, I don't know. It makes me wonder why there's efficiency and energy as well. Oh, I think it's an energy charge. So we'll see later on in the stream. She uses a heavy ammo synthesis for her sword, and I think she gets 55 charge. And then the efficiency is how quickly or how much charge each attack uses. So maybe with a higher energy, you get a larger battery or a larger amount of sword energy. So maybe with full energy statistic on the sword here, you would be able to get 100 or 80 or something, but something higher than 55 because this energy seems to be about 7 out of 10. So I can't imagine it would go much higher than 55. So maybe 70. Maybe 70 sword energy is the max for swords. Maybe we'll find out once Taken King launches. So energy is how much heavy ammo charge you can hold with your sword, and efficiency is how much energy your sword attacks use. So glad we got that clarification out of the way. Oh, she moused over that little thing there. Let's go back just a tad, and we're going to speed this down in half so we can get this. She actually moused over this little node here so we can see what that says. Infuse, tempered light, thrive by the sword, we saw that. Phoenix uppercut, warrior of light, we saw that. Did I go back a little too far? I think I did. No, I don't think I went back far enough. No, I think I went back just far enough. Okay, we're good. We will get there. Efficiency, we covered that. Defense, we covered that. Energy, we covered that. Phoenix uppercut, we covered that. Come on. There we go. Scabbard. Increases sword ammo capacity. That's what that means. So, increased sword energy. That's what those nodes are. I think if you choose these two nodes, you will max out your sword energy. Because they look the same graphics, so I'm going to assume that both of these top nodes are increased sword ammo capacity. Or this second node could be increased sword efficiency, or increased sword defense, or range, or impact, or speed. Just something else like that. So let's go ahead and put speed back to normal. And, oh, speed. I don't know if you guys can read that, but I'm going to read it to you. Speed is the speed at which you can launch attacks. So currently in Destiny, the slams for the Sword of Crota are a lot slower than just the regular melee swipes. So this just increases or decreases the rate at which speed is self-explanatory, right? I don't really need to explain that. It's the speed at which you can launch attacks. That's very easy explanation. Impact and range. I can't imagine range would increase or decrease very much because it's a sword. But yeah, I can't really imagine because it's a melee thing. I mean, maybe with from Final Fantasy, right? Sephiroth, he's got that massive sword, or Cloud, he's got that massive sword. He can hit people from farther away. Whereas if you have like a dagger, you have to really be close to him. Maybe something like that. I can't imagine there would be different lengths and sizes of swords in Destiny. I'm going to assume they're going to be roughly the same. And impact is just the amount of damage that each swing or ability uses. So that's a very long-winded breakdown of the exotic sword that we find, or one of the exotic swords. We don't know how many there are. Maybe there's just one, maybe there's two or three, and that we find in the Taken King. Cool. Moving on. Let's move on now. So they kind of, again, I'm not using the stream audio. If you're just joining us, I'm not using the stream audio because of purposes, for reasons. If you want to watch the full stream, the one that I'm watching it's on Planet Destiny's YouTube page. They have the full Court of Oryx reveal stream over there. So they're patrolling the Dreadnaught. Patrols in the Dreadnaught are not easy mode anymore. They make the PvE interactions with the Taken, the Cabal, the Hive. I think that's Fallen. I think there's 4 races on the Dreadnaught. I'm pretty sure Fallen are on the Dreadnaught. If they're not, please correct me. But there's definitely Taken, Cabal, and Hive on the Dreadnaught, which is more than we've seen in other patrol areas in different planets. So they're not easy. Enemies here are level 36, I think, in this particular region. So it's not going to be like, oh, I made a brand new level 1 character, let's go to the Dreadnaught. No, that's that's not going to be easy. So interactions between player and enemy are going to be a lot more difficult. So yeah, because with all of the races, there's going to be more opportunity for the races to move against one another. They mentioned this in the stream, and I'll get to the chat in just a second. But they mentioned this in the stream. Enemies will move against each other a lot more often, just like Skywatch on Earth in the Cosmodrome. So Yeah, that's going to be really exciting. So the Rick Moranis says, curious if there's any lore out there for swords existing. Let's go back. Let's pause this because that's an important piece of loot she just picked up. I think it's dropped after killing this enemy here. Let's pause here. Okay. Curious if there's any lore out there for swords existing in, on the Guardian side of things. Obviously there's the Hive lore, but am I forgetting something? Otherwise, are we just getting swords out of nowhere? I think they're brand new. Yeah, Stains by Kinsby says it. Swords, I think, are long-lost weapon type. Paraphrasing, sorry, something like that. Yes. Yes. Obviously, especially with the exotic weapons, Irish 116, you'll get a specific Grimoire card for that exotic weapon, so there's going to be lore behind those exotic weapons. And we see that there's an exotic sword, so we'll get lore behind the weapon that she's using. So that's really nice. And you'll learn about the lore and the storyline of the sword through the quest line that you do to get the sword. So we're going to learn a lot more about the swords once the Taken King launches. But right now they are a forgotten weapon type, and they're being introduced right now. So there's no lore currently out there, but once the Taken King launches, it'll be out there. So in the patrol area of the Dreadnaught, they killed a boss type enemy. You know, it's an Ultra. I think that's what they're called in the Destiny universe. Yellow bar enemies with a specific name, and upon killing this Ultra, they got I can't even read that because I'm being dumb right now. Agonarch rune. Yeah, an Agonarch rune. And the Agonarch rune is what you use to initiate public events, I think. I think that's what they say.
Bothering us. Yes. Protect us, or protect us.
Okay, I thought they would be talking about the rune right there. But those are, you need runes to instigate public events. And I think the menu's taking a long time to load. Okay. Agonarch rune. Okay, so this is not what they use. It's a bug flew almost in my mouth. Sorry, guys. This is not exactly what you use. You use these right here. These runes over here. This is what they use for the public events. But this Agonarch rune is a mysterious rune. Its aura matches those of the plane-shifting Hive, who periodically appear on the Dreadnaught. Mosquito, get out of here. So those are consumables. So once you hunt down the hidden Taken threats, you will be able to consume this rune. So, few questions. Yep, Cream Puff, shoot them away, shoot away. Message them in the chat, and I will try to answer those. So these runes over here, which we will get to, I believe, later on in the stream, are the runes you use for public events. Don't know exactly what this is used for. Maybe once you charge up that legendary rune, you will be able to instigate a tougher raid level public event activity. Or it's a quest giving item. That's totally, that's an acceptable theory. Yeah, I would agree with that. Agonarch rune sounds like it could be a mini quest line that you just randomly happen upon in patrol, and that would kind of make sense because I'm gonna pause the stream real quick. That would kind of make sense because you killed a specific enemy in the patrol area. It had a name, you know, it was somehow important in the Destiny universe, specifically inside the Dreadnaught, so why not? Why wouldn't it initiate a quest line? That would be pretty cool. Let's speed this up here. Oh yeah, so before we speed it up, a new destination material. Every patrol area has its own destination material. Worm Spore is the destination material of the Dreadnaught, so going to use that for upgrading different things. And there's a waypoint above it because she has the ghost shell that notifies your player where those destination materials are in the patrol area. No, year 1 guns will not turn into year 2 guns. Year 1 guns will be much less useful in year 2 activities, specifically year 2 activities. Year 1 activities will you can still use your year 1 guns, but they will not be very useful in the King's Fall raid, for instance, or any of the strikes or story missions. So any year 2 gun that you acquire will be more powerful than your year 1 gun. There are 2 new materials. Okay, then yeah, there's 2 different materials. Yeah, okay, I did not know that. I guess I wasn't really paying attention. You can see both if you go back to the inventory screen. Okay, well, there's 2 new destination materials. I don't think I'm going to go back, but yeah, there's destination materials. Maybe one's used for armor, the other one's used for weapons, or maybe they're both used for weapons and armor, so that's just going to be interesting. This platform that they're showing right now is the area that they're going to, but we kind of have to go a little bit more, a little bit further into the Dreadnaught to acquire, or to enter the court of Oryx. Yes, you can change your ghost shells. Ghost shells will increase your light level, increase your defense rating, and give you intellect, strength, or discipline, depending on the ghost shell, and it will have a special perk. Like I was just talking about, the Laced Up Lauren, she currently has the shell active that shows her where worm spores are in the patrol area. They give a little waypoint above that, and she can go and collect that. That's one of the ghost shell perks. They're going to be different depending on where you get those ghost shells. And here she pops her super. She's a Stormcaller Warlock, which is going to be super strong in in Crucible. I'm really excited to start using that, but not excited to play against it. If you want to see my reaction, you can go watch to realizing how strong Warlocks are in Taken King. You can go watch my previous stream breakdown. And you should still keep all of your exotics, because year 2 exotics are being tweaked in the Taken King. You can watch the first Bungie reveal stream for Taken King, which is the year 2, and they talk all about exotic blueprints and how your exotics will transition into the Taken King. So more Wormspore, and we're moving on. And they call for help with this wizard, but it's just a red bar. And Lauren, you have a solar shotgun right there. You just walk up with that shotgun, shoot the wizard in the face, and one-shot it basically. But oh well. Moving on in the Dreadnaught, let's see if we can speed this up just a tad. And it will, they also talk about variability in the patrol area. So when you come back to this patrol area, you know, you might fight Taken, or you might fight Hive, or you might fight Cabal. Maybe not Cabal in this specific area, but different areas of patrol will still spawn different types of enemies, so it's going to include some variability in the patrol area. So we are approaching the court of Oryx here. We are in basically the court of Oryx, and this little hallway, let's go ahead and stop it right here. Excuse me, put the speed back to normal. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching the stream, by the way. Definitely appreciate it. I do not, oh man, I don't have don't have notifications turned on, so if you followed the stream since the beginning of this broadcast, thank you so much for the support. And we will carry on, keep producing great content for you guys. So this court right here, these little pillars, let me make sure I didn't mess up any of this stuff. Okay, we're good. We're good. All right. This court right here, this little hallway, these little statues right here is where you make your offering with your rune to initiate this certain public event. You can see there's this little platform right there, And you can see, let's pause it once she gets to the next one. Let's see. Let's go back just a tad right here. So we notice that there are 3 statues on each side. They never go to the right side here. So we don't know if these will initiate different public events, different tiered public events, or different difficulty level events. We don't know what the right side does, but we only know about the left side here. And depending on which statue you make your offering to, depends on what tier of public event you initiate. So this one right here, this far right one, we will see her make the offering to. She initiates a tier 1 public event with this statue right here. And tier 1 public events at the Court of Oryx are just a single boss with a certain mechanic, and you complete it for rare loot, rare level loot, blue level loot. Nothing too special and nothing too difficult for you to complete, but it still is a public event. Now this next statue that she's currently looking at is tier 2 public events, which you can unlock by completing 2 or 3, I think it's 3 tier 1 public events, and you can make an offering to tier 2, and that launches 2 public event bosses, 2 of the tier 1 bosses at the same time. Okay, so there's a pool of about 5 or 6 bosses in tier 1, and the tier 2 enemies draws 2 random bosses from that pool and gives them both of you at the same time. Okay, and there's a mechanic in the generation of these bosses that prevents you from playing the same boss twice in a row. Okay, so say I get the ogre boss right at the very beginning, tier 1. Spawn the ogre boss. I'm not going to get that boss the next time I generate the public event. Okay, anybody who participated in the public event is not going to get that boss back to back to back. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's scroll up just a tad. They're taking the stats from your current loadout on your characters and your vault to determine your power level. Yep. Okay. Yep. That's correct. Year 2 version of Suros getting redone. Yep. The skill tree. All the Year 2 exotics are getting their exotic perk at the very beginning, so you can actually use that exotic perk first once you unlock it. Okay. Yes, they did say they took inspiration from Shadow Colossus for this area. So these immense busts, structures, statues, they're just very ominous and powerful. Okay. Another sequel to Destiny, Crota's mom. That would be pretty funny. New Apotheosis perks are rad. I haven't seen those, but Apotheosis Veil is one of my favorite exotics. Actually, it looks really cool. And here they're talking about the generation of the bosses, I think. So let's go back just a little bit. Maybe we can listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, you can have 3 people in your fire team on patrol on the Dreadnaught. The max people in the bubble is 9.
Right.
And so the impetus about this is that when you're doing these public events, you're going to see more people around the bubble that convene when it starts up.
Gotcha.
And because this is going to be a challenge level that you're going to need them for.
And you can use other people's runes. So you can show up if you don't have a tier 2 rune, for example.
Right.
You could wait for somebody to drop one of those and jump
Yeah.
over there. Right?
The impetus is that people will respond to you starting up a rune, and they'll be like, oh, this is perfect time for me to plug mine in.
Right.
Cool. And then you can do back-to-back events.
Okay, cool. So I think that's a lot of information we can talk about. They said they confirmed 3-player patrol on the Dreadnaught. Some people were thinking that you could do 6-player. Nope, it's the same as just regular Destiny. They're keeping the 3-person fire team for patrols. You can have up to 9 people in the Court of Oryx area. So 2 other fire teams, including your own, you can just have 9 people take on all these bosses. And obviously the more people you have, the easier the public event will be. But some of these events they're all timed, right? Typical public event timing. You'd have 4 or 5 minutes to complete. They're going to be really hard at the higher levels. Like, I don't think you're going to be able to solo some of these public events, because taking on 2 out of the 3 bosses by yourself at once is going to be really, really difficult. So obviously there's going to be people out there who will be able to solo these public events, you know, months after, or I'm not even going to say months, a couple of weeks after Taken King launches. They're going to have all the right gear, all the right strategies, and they're going to find out how to be able to solo this content. But it's a public event. People will be able to join you even if you're alone. So if you start a tier 2 public event just by yourself, people in the area are going to be able to join your public event. So that's really nice. And if you only have 1 rune, you can stay in the area, another player can activate another public event, and you can just keep playing the public events over and over and over again. So the replayability of the Court of Oryx is really nice. They're really short. They're not as long as Prison of Elders. Like Prison of Elders, they said replayability is huge, but let's be honest, not a lot of people mainly play Prison of Elders like people thought. So that's really not how the Court of Oryx works, okay? With Prison of Elders, you have all these different rounds, and it takes forever, and Skull Lost boss fight takes forever, and it's super annoying. Court of Oryx, timed event, 4 to 5 minutes. It's hard, and people can join you at will, up to 9 players at the same time. That's going to be really exciting. That's going to be awesome. That's really awesome. And since patrols are based on proximity, there's probably a way to 6 to 9 man these. Yes, absolutely. Yes. And it's awesome. I'm excited because it allows more social interaction, because, you know, if you're playing this by yourself, you say, I don't have a raid team, I'm not going to be able to play the new raid because I don't have any friends. You can find people in public events and be like, hey, you know your way around these public events. You know a way around these bosses. You play really well. Do you want to do a raid sometime? And it just increases the social interaction for Destiny. So did they say how to get the runes, or do you have to figure it out? I think the runes drop from patrol area. From the patrol area. So I think just defeating enemies and you'll get them in a random drop. You might be able to buy them from like Eris or something, but they haven't confirmed that, I don't think. Proximity chat, if you enter the fire team channel, they already have that implemented. You can enter the fire team channel and be able to talk to other people in patrol, I think. Or at least I think that's what they're doing with Court of Oryx area. Ooh, excuse me. So we're about to watch the first public event. So walk up to the statue, present your rune, and depending on the difficulty of the rune, you can activate the different tier of enemy. So now we have our first public event. The person who presents the rune then has to enter the Court of Oryx and walk up to the portal here to actually start the fight. Okay? Yeah. So, yep, approach the portal. I'm pointing at my screen. You guys can't see that. Approach the portal, lace up Lauren. Okay, and as soon as she got close, created public event, kill Vorlog. Guardians engaged 3 currently. I don't know if an event is currently going on. Other Guardians can join you. I assume so. I think that's what I just said. Yeah, because it's a public event. You can just walk in and do that. Some shields have layers. So whenever you initiate a public event, depending on which boss spawns, it will kind of give you a little description of how to go about that fight. Okay? So with this particular fight, some shields have layers. What does that mean? Let's find out. So public event starts, bosses spawn in, ads spawn in, and I think it's really important to note, okay? Really important to note that all 3 members of this fire team are level 40, okay? And they all have different light levels, okay? So we know from the Taken King, max level is 40, and then depending on your gear, depends on your light level, okay? And light level is determined by an average of all of your weapons attack damage and all of your armor's defense rating. It's an average of that. So the better gear you have, the higher your light level. That's going to be really important in just a few minutes, okay? We notice tier 1 public event. I said they're level 40. Enemies are level 38. You're going to have an easy time easy time completing this public event. Tier 1, not that bad, and they're under-leveled. Enemies are under-leveled. That's fine, okay? So, this dude's hiding, okay? So, if we remember, in Prison of Elders, the Cabal boss, okay, he has a rotating shield, okay? So every time you deplete the shield, there's a little bit of time in which a new shield comes back, and it's probably going to have a different element type. That's what this boss is, okay? So the description of some shields have layers. This dude has every shield imaginable, okay? So right now it's currently arc. Use your arc weapons and abilities to break that shield really quickly. Once the shield is broken right there, you have a very small window of opportunity to hit his health, okay? And then once the shield generates again, it's going to be a different element type. So 5, 6 or so seconds, and now he has a new shield, okay? New shield, new element type. It was a solar shield, but she's using her sword, and that deals massive damage. Just look at this, okay? That was an upper. I'm pointing at my screen again. This is an uppercut. That's how much damage your sword is doing, okay? That is insane. Absolutely insane, okay? Huge damage right there. It one uppercut completely took out the shield and did damage, okay? I've said okay a lot, and look at that. Just 3-shot that boss with that sword. And that's huge. That's awesome. And okay, the person who initiated the public event gets the loot from the chest, okay? So once you complete the public event, this chest opens up, pops out engrams. Person who started the public event gets the good loot. People participating in the public event will sometimes get an engram drop from an enemy just like normal. So they don't actually get a guaranteed drop from this chest. They just get loot as you continue on. Alright, let's speed this back up. Let's go to the next. Let's see a new boss. Like I said, there's a pool of about 5, 6, 7, 8 bosses in Tier 1. So every time you start a new public event, you're not going to get that same boss the second time in a row. So she presents her new rune. She's not going to get that Hive Knight again. She's going to get a new boss with a new mechanic and a new way of fighting that enemy. And they're talking a lot here. Let's see what they're saying.
Currency that people used to use. Metal money.
So we have a variety of bosses in Court of Oryx.
Oh, pause. They're talking about the bosses in Court of Oryx. Let's go back just a little bit. Let's listen to what he has to say here.
Two things are it's
Positive
like
social
putting Doge coins
experiences.
into a
Right, you don't want anyone to like take your coin and just like.
That's a currency that people used to use. Metal money.
So we have a variety of bosses in Court of Oryx, and we make sure that you don't ever play the same one twice in a row for the lower tiers. So, Lauren, if you want to go activate another one.
First one or second one?
Oh, the first one.
First one, okay.
Right there.
And so we're obviously we're going to do these tier 1s over and over again to get rewards, to get loot, to have fun with our friends, but we're also benefiting by
charging up our higher level runes that we already have in our inventory.
So that's really important. They already have higher level rune, but they need to charge it up with lower tier public events so that they can initiate those higher tier public events. So right now we're doing tier 1 public events. They have a tier 2 rune that needs to be charged up by completing 3 tier 1 public events. Does that make sense? I think it does. So they have to complete 3 of these tier 1 public events in order to unlock and present the tier 2 rune so that they can start the tier 2 public event. Okay? So new boss, approach the portal, Lauren. Lauren has summoned wizards. Kill quickly or the wizards return. So short little description about the public event. You're spawning 3 wizards. You can see their names right here. Alzok, Gornuk, and Zyrok. Obviously made up names because every word is made up. So 3 wizards, and their mechanic is if you kill 1 wizard and then you don't kill the other 2 wizards quickly enough, that 3rd wizard is going to respawn. So they explain the mechanic or the strategy for this public event in the stream. Get 1 wizard really low health, leave it alone. Next wizard really low health, leave that alone, leave those 2 wizards alone. 3rd wizard, get it really low health, and then kill all of them at the same time. I think that's pretty good strategy. Yep, so let's speed it up here. We know the mechanic, we know the boss fight. Again, tier 1 enemies are level 38 and they're level 40. It's going to be pretty easy to complete this public event. I don't know if each wizard has a different shield. I don't think so. I think they all have solar shields. I think that would make sense because they're just wizards. Yep, they all have solar shields. Okay. Nothing different there. It's actually kind of funny. The wizards were taking damage, so they went to hide. Okay, I think they got 1 wizard. Oops, I have Skype open. Sorry about that. That was my fault. If you have Skype open, that was not you. That was me. I think they got 1 wizard pretty low, and they didn't kill it. So the other 2 wizards went to hide. I think that's pretty funny. Again, use your shotguns. Shotguns are still really strong. See, they're ignoring that 1 wizard because they already have it low health. This one, getting it down pretty well. Focusing a 3rd wizard here. Again, use those shotguns, use that super, use those grenades, use that melee ability. It's just a public event, right? You don't really have to, you're not going to waste anything by using your abilities or other weapons, you know? It just makes a little bit more sense to use the stronger weapons. Just use the weapons. Sidearms are coming back. Sidearms are going to be really cool to use. Shotguns are fun to use. I love using shotguns. Like in Vault of Glass, for the Templar fight, I just used the Universal Remote up until Oracles because it's just so fun to use. So they got all of the wizards low health. They killed it. They killed them all together. It's interesting to note, they don't really mention this in the strike, but when a wizard dies, what's it called? A vestige appears. I think those are the vestiges that we saw in Dark Below. If you step into that, I think it's going to poison you. I think you're going to take damage over time. And I think the wizard will respawn in that exact location. Probably with full health. We don't know. They didn't give us a chance to see what would happen if the wizard respawned. So I'm going to assume wizard respawns right there in that location, in that vestige, and it has full health again. So you're going to have to be like, oh man, that wasn't good. We messed that up. Important to note, I didn't mention this in the previous public event, she earned heiress reputation for completing that public event. She earned 25 heiress reputation, which is a little bit higher than completing a regular patrol mission. That's nice. So she's probably wearing an heiress class item, and she's earning heiress reputation. I think that's awesome. You don't have to just complete heiress quests or bounties anymore to level up heiress stuff. Hopefully heiress has more gear for her to sell us. That's going to be awesome. Another thing to note, once you complete a public event, okay, whoever instigated that public event has a little debuff called Summoner's Exhaustion. This debuff prevents Lauren from initiating another public event. Okay, so she initiated that last public event. She's going to get the loot. More badass shaders. Yeah, I think Eris should have more shaders. I think that's going to be awesome. Pick up the orbs that your friends... there's a chest right there. They didn't open it because that's a secret. So when we play the Court of Oryx, go ahead and get that chest, find out what it is. So she has the debuff Summoner's Exhaustion. I don't know how long it lasts. I think she's still able to do this next thing. Okay, so this is a tier 2 rune. Okay, it's blue level, rare, and it has to be charged up, like I was talking about, with 3 tier 1 bosses. Defeat Oryx's lieutenants. That's different bosses. Yeah, they said it was locked. It's a secret within the Dreadnaught. That's what that chest is. So this tier 2 rune has to be charged up with tier 1 boss kills. So they've completed 2. They need 1 more to unlock tier 2. So I think that's what they're going to go ahead and do right now. Let's go ahead and see if they're talking about anything super important. Of course, everything they talk about is important, but if we can quickly gloss over it, then we will move on.
You need to go to the court, participate, help other players, do some lower level ones, be able to...
So you don't have to initiate the public events to gain charges on your higher tier runes. You just have to participate in the public events, and you can have up to 9 in that one little arena.
Able to do the
40 seconds for the debuff. Lasts a minute.
higher level ones.
Something like that.
And so we're going to do 1 more tier 1 to charge that up.
So in the amount of time that they completed the public event and they've got the loot and they've talked a little bit, her debuff is gone. So she can initiate another public event. Okay.
We're going to do the next level difficulty.
Perfect.
Awesome. Are you still exhausted, or are you ready? Are you ready? All right.
I think
Yeah,
we're ready.
exhaustion is just a little tap to say, hey, let someone else go if they want to.
Gotta rest, you know.
Yeah.
Charge up again.
Take a breather. Change your perks.
All right, and so these bosses are rotating as well, right? So we're not going to see
The same one twice.
Yeah.
Okay. So they just reiterated the fact that you're not going to see the same boss twice in a row. Approach the portal, Lauren. She summons the Knight brothers. Knight shields weaken when close together. Again, a little description about how to complete the public event. One's a little bit more self-explanatory than the first one, which was sometimes shields have layers. So this one's a little bit self-explanatory. Shields weaken when close together. So these 2 bosses, it's a Taken Knight and a Hive Knight. They will spawn in. You see a white shield. White shield, what element type is that? Immune. You can't damage him unless this guy and that guy are close together. Okay, so we have a typical Hive Knight, and then we have a Taken Knight right there. You saw the immune damage right there. You actually have to kite those 2 bosses so that they're close to one another so that you can actually damage them. Okay, again, level 38 enemies. It's pretty simple, you know. This is still a tier 1 public event, just a new boss, new mechanic, new way of completing this strike. Of course, ads spawn in as well. Since there's a Taken boss and a Hive boss, you're going to get both Taken and Hive ads. So you're going to have Taken enemies and Hive enemies spawning in as well. So that's pretty important to know. Again, if you haven't really done anything with the bosses and how to combat them, it'll give you another little description of how to fight these bosses here. Knight's shield weaken when close together. Okay, so it just reminds you of how to complete the public event. And right now they're just trying to kite them close together. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Night Stalker Hunter used his super to tether them together so they don't run away from one another as quickly. So they got close, the shields were down, he tethered them together, and that's when they just unleash. Look at that damage. Look at how much damage this does. So much damage. Oh my gosh. And so now the bosses, the sword kind of hit them away, so now the bosses are too far apart for the tethers and for the shields to be down. So they actually have to reset, kite them back, wait for the shields to go down, and then, come on, they're close together, almost. Okay, shields are down. Let's go ahead and take out one of the, oh, shields are back up. They're too far apart. We need to kite them together. Shields are down. Oh, shields are up. Kite them closer. Shields are down. They're right next to each other. Laced Up Lauren makes a small mistake and focuses the wrong boss because she could have killed the Taken Knight, but that's okay. That's fine. Not a big deal. This is something kind of funny. She uses her sword, even though the knight is immune, the sword still knocked him back. So it allowed the knights, the bosses, to be close enough together so that their shields go down. I thought that was kind of funny. In this, you can see This guy's health is really low. Finish him off right there. And he actually, the boss actually helped them. The Taken Knight has this phase ability. It kind of just glitches to a different location, kind of like a sideways blink. And he actually glitched closer to his counterpart, and that's what lowered the shield and allowed them to take him out. And once one guy is dead, they no longer gain the shield. You can just focus down the other guy and just complete the public event. Okay, you can see right here this is timed. You do have about 4 to 5 minutes to complete each public event. If you don't complete the public event, then you don't, or within the time, then you just don't complete the public event. Okay. Again, since Laced Up Lauren initiated the public event, she gets the loot from the chest and picks up orbs and destination materials. Yeah, Taken King streams, I would agree, are a lot better than the House of Wolves streams. The House of Wolves streams were kind of like a little test to see how it did. Everybody really liked it. They wanted more. Bungie's giving more, and this is really nice. This is a lot of good information, because trying to figure all this stuff out once the game launched, it would have taken people a long time, you know. And this really helps people understand what to expect when they get the Taken King. Heavy ammo synthesis. She's about to use a heavy ammo synthesis with her sword. And we noticed that her energy, the sword energy, was about 6 out of 10. The energy statistic was about 6 out of 10. So she uses a what's it called? Heavy ammo synthesis. I just said it. And you can't see it because this is in the way. 55 charge on that sword. Okay, so that's, yeah, that's how much charge she gets. And again, sword efficiency determines how much charge each attack does. So that's just something interesting to note about. They're talking here. Let's see what they have to say.
Happy to see others appearing on the horizon to participate in public events. But just the 3 of us, we need kind of, you know, put the effort in.
We're going to crush it.
We are.
So they completed 3 Tier 1 Court of Oryx events, which means Lauren's Tier 2 rune is now charged up, so she can initiate a Tier 2 Court of Oryx event. And it takes 2 of the bosses from the Tier 1 pool and throws them together at you. It throws both of those bosses at you at the same time. That's what I'm trying to say. I said it before, and now we are actually about to see what happens.
All right, go for it, Lauren. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm scared.
It's okay. We'll hold hands. We'll be fine.
So Tier 2 takes bosses from the first tier, and you fight 2 of them at the same time. And there's a wide variety of them. So the impetus of these fights is determining which boss to take out first.
All right. Well, we've got an... Oh.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of let this play out. What I just said gives you 2 bosses out of the Tier 1 pool and throws them together and throws them at you at the exact same time. And so what he was saying, what this guy, Ben Womack, or Womack, however you pronounce his last name, he was saying the strategy here is figuring out which boss to take out first. Which one's easier to take out, or which one's less annoying, or which one's more annoying. It just depends on which one you guys want to focus down, because if you focus both of them down, they're still both going to be attacking you, so, you know, less is better. Less is more. Less bosses means less stuff to worry about on the field, so focus one guy, and then focus the other guy. So, the Knights bosses spawned again. We have the 2 Knight brothers, the Taken Knight and the Hive Knight, back together again, so we have to kite them together to take out their shields. That's kind of annoying. Let's focus on taking this dude out. This ogre boss, I think, he has an immune shield as well. His shield only goes down if Cursed Thrall explode next to him. I think that's what that is. Let's go back just a little bit. Okay, so they spawn in. Oh, did I go back too far? I think I went back a little. Nope, I didn't. 4 minutes to complete each public event. 4 minutes for tier 2. Okay. Krugor. Oh, let's go back just a little bit. Use the Cursed Thralls. So yeah, okay. So this Ogre boss has an immune shield that only goes down if Cursed Thrall damage it. So wait for Cursed Thrall to be next to the boss, and then his shield goes down. It's interesting because what if Necrochasm was there? Can you use Necrochasm precision kills for the Cursed Thrall explosion to take his shield down? Maybe. Maybe not. But Cursed Thrall will spawn in right there. We see Cursed Thrall. Make them explode next to the guy, and you can then damage him. One important thing to note here. This enemy is level 41. Everyone in their fire team is level 40. You might think the one level difference in year 1 was a massive difference. You did 33% less damage and you took 33% more damage. Something weird and strange like that. In year 2, no, that's not the case. Okay, that is not the case at all. You will still do. I think there was a Reddit post yesterday about how much damage she was doing to level 38 enemies and level 41 enemies, and the answer is the same. You will do the same amount of damage to level 41 or 42 enemies. It just depends on your light level, which we'll get to in just a second. Okay, we'll get to it in just a second. I think in this event, she dies and we get to see the death screen. Okay. Yes. Okay. So she dies here. This is important. Recommended light 240. This is the Taken Knight boss. Okay. A boss, in order to take him down, it is recommended that you have 240 light. Okay. Recommended, not necessary. So the boss is usually 1 or 2 levels higher than you, or higher than max level, or higher than whatever level the thing is you're doing. So this knight is, I don't know, does it say? No, it doesn't. It doesn't say what level this knight is. No, it doesn't. So this knight could be level 42, right? But it doesn't really matter. As long as you have at least level 24 light, you will do enough damage, or you will take less damage, or enough damage, whatever. It's recommended that you have 240 light to defeat this boss. If you have less, it's still possible, but it's going to be a lot more difficult. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're level 38 with 250 light, you're going to be able to defeat this boss. Okay? That's just the way it is. I think they get respawn. Okay, so it's just a public event. It's not a strike or it's not a raid. You respawn pretty quick. The person who initiated the event, okay, must return to the court to continue on with the event. Event cancels in 10 seconds. Okay, this is to prevent AFKs. So it prevents people from initiating the event, letting other people do it, and then getting the rewards for doing nothing. That's what that prevents. You have to be actively completing the public event. You have to be inside the court. You don't have to deal damage. You just have to be inside the court to get the loot. Okay? So level 41 enemies, dealing the same amount of damage. I think she dies again to a different enemy. Or that might be the next event. Okay? It might be the next event. Or does she die here? Let's see here. Okay, so she dies again to the other knight boss. Again, it says recommended light 240. It's a boss. Yeah, that's understandable. Okay, she gets revived. Nope, she doesn't. Blah, blah, blah. Let's speed this up just a tad. It might be the next event that she dies to a different enemy, and it says recommended light level 190 or something. It's just something interesting that I found out, okay? And Luke Smith actually tweeted out about this yesterday. Light level doesn't matter in terms of damage, because as a level 40, you're going to do the same amount of damage to a level 41 as a level 40 or 39 enemy, okay? It depends on your light level, and that depends on your gear. What are they going to do about minimum light level, like 3 level below system now? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see if you maybe have like 50, like if the raid says you need 280 light level, recommended light level, and you have 200, maybe you can't do that activity. Maybe something like that. I would understand that. Your gear is not good enough to complete. One thing to note, or a couple things to note. Lace Up Lauren found calcified fragment for completing tier 2 public event. She gained 60 reputation this time. Okay, so that's more than double of tier 1. She defeated 2 bosses, and she got more reputation. She gains different rewards, maybe higher level rewards, a ghost shell and tome of nothing. We don't know what that means. We don't know what that is. Maybe that's a warlock bond. Who knows? Something. Different tiered loot for different tiered public events. That's really exciting. Okay. Summoner's Exhaustion. She does not have a tier 2 rune, so somebody else needs to activate this one for us to do it. I think they do one more public event here. Let's see what they're talking about.
Bosses and anything else. They have several mechanics, very specific strategies required to beat them, and their rewards are really, really good. And just like with the tier 2 runes, you have to do 3 of the previous difficulty to charge it up all the way.
And tier 2 is the highest tier.
No, tier 3 is the highest.
Tier 3?
Ah, okay, that's interesting. Say I have a tier 3 rune. I can't do 3 tier 1s to charge it up. I need to do 3 of the previous tier. So that means in order to charge up my tier 3, which is the highest level, I need to do 3 tier 2 public events. So that's a little bit of a grind fest, and we don't know how difficult tier 3 public events are going to be. But it's Destiny and it's Bungie. There's going to be some grind aspect. So 3 tier 1 charges a tier 2. 3 tier 2 charges a tier 3. So you're going to be doing public events for a while in order to get that tier 3, and we don't know how difficult that is.
Antiquated rune. Pay attention.
How do we
One more
do
tier
you want to do one more tier 2?
One more tier 2?
We can take a tier
I think
3.
we could
do more tier 2?
One more tier 2?
Tiers.
let's do it.
You just tell us we have to do a tier 2.
Okay, so she doesn't have a tier. Oh, I meant to mute and let it play. She doesn't have a tier 2, so somebody else has to do whatever. It's a grind, but a better system than we have now. Yeah. It's better than wait for 15 minutes for the tank to spawn in the divide to get a public event package. You know? Yeah. A little bit better. So it takes them a little bit to realize that somebody else needs to do it. Awesome. Tier 2 activated. Let's go. Okay, let's drop the speed down 1. Approach the portal, Ben. Target the knight first. Interesting.
So it's a random order. They go through
So it's
the
never
entire
going to be
list.
like you're going to do a boss and then
Yeah.
the same boss again.
We have a dropship.
It's always a
Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Taken enemies and hive enemies, I think, are here. Don't know exactly what the bosses do here. I think I'll remember in a second. But again, there are 2 bosses in here. Let's see what they have to say.
All right. All right. Okay. So stand next to me, you two. I'm gonna make this invisible. We're gonna jump top from here, the edge to the top, and we're just gonna mess up Warlock. All right.
All right.
God.
Here we go. Invisible time.
What have you done to me? I can't jump up top. I am Titan.
I am Titan.
Oh, the strategy was perfect. Except for
Except that I'm gonna like fall off the edge.
That's funny. Okay, so she died. We see that her light level is 240. So she's high enough light level to defeat those 240 light level bosses. So it makes sense that she was able to complete those last couple public events. Let's see here. I think the knight that spawns up top is the knight with the refreshing shield. Yep, Vorlog, that was the first boss we noticed. He kind of just stands around and doesn't do much, so they're going to focus him first. Okay? So they want to focus him first. Ooh, and she died. She died to a taken phalanx. Recommended light 240. Okay. I think she dies again to a different level, light level enemy. But right now they're just trying to focus on the boss right here. And this is really good. Get him cornered and just destroy him with the sword. That's awesome. That's super awesome. Taken Wizard has Void Shield. That's interesting. Important to note, I think this is her Warlock bond. Okay? Upgrade unlocked. You will be able to upgrade your class items. So you'll get defensive stats and different perks with your class items now. That's really cool. Again, public events are timed. You know, they only have 2 minutes to complete this fight. Are they going to do it? Let's find out.
Take on the boss. Okay, one more knight. Here we go. Get on the boss.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this dude's mechanic is he has an immune shield, and his shield only goes down when every other enemy is dead. So you have to focus the ads in order for his shield to go down, so that you can focus him. That's kind of super annoying, but it's a good communication. Actually, her relic. That's thank you. So relics as well will be able to give you different perks or different armor stats. So unlocks available. Artifact, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I know what you mean. We're good. We're good. So do damage to the boss. Enemies spawn in. Shield comes back. That's kind of annoying, but it's the boss mechanic. You have to actually figure out how to do it. And that's why the description said focus the knight first, because he is still an enemy, and if he's alive, then this dude, this Cabal boss, or taken Cabal boss, can't be focused, so you actually have to kill the other guy first. Again, trying to focus the ads. Ads are dead, focus the boss. Ads spawn, can't focus the boss anymore. So, gotta focus the ads. I think she dies here, almost? No. Tomb Ship. This is what I meant. Recommended light, 190. You can't actually fight a tomb ship. Or maybe you can. But, depending on which enemies kill you, it'll show you what the recommended light level for defeating that enemy is. Okay? Okay, so they're not really talking about anything. Minions shield their commander. Again, if you don't complete the thing, it'll give you a little hint about how to continue on. And they have 20 seconds left. Are they going to be able to do it? They have to kill all the ads first. There's a wizard here. That wizard came from the moon. But it's a taken wizard, so maybe it didn't come from the moon. So, finally, with literally 0 seconds left, they kill the boss. And they actually event complete. Chest unlocked. Okay? So, since Ben initiated the public event, he found calcified fragment. Don't know what that is, but he found it. And he gets the loot from the chest. So, Lauren, she was getting all the loot, but nothing dropped for her out of the chest because she did not initiate the event. I think that's cool. Let's see what they have to say.
2.
That is tier 2. Awesome. That's fun.
So we have a third tier. and we can start kicking this off. You guys are you ready for
We're
it?
ready. We don't need 6, right?
I'm sorry.
No,
No,
I think
I'm really
They wanted to do tier 3, but Deej is the fun police, and wanted to keep it secret. And we're gonna have to find out how difficult tier 3 is. There's speculation that it's raid tier level bosses. That's gonna be really exciting, because if there's a raid tier level boss in a public event space, you might only have 1, 2, 3 people to complete it. That's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be super disappointing if we get to tier 3 and it's like, you've taken on 1, you've taken on 2 bosses. How about 3 bosses? And that's gonna be super annoying. And it would be really disappointing. But I wouldn't put it past Bungie at this point to do something stupid like that. But probably, hopefully, like strike boss. Like what if Fogoth, like Taken Fogoth, just appears in the court and you're like, oh my god, he's throwing Cursed Thrall at me like grenades. That's going to blow my mind. That's going to be awesome. If it's like a mini strike in a public event space, yes. Do it. Thank you, Bungie. That's going to be awesome. I think that is the end of the stream. Blah, blah, blah. They do... Nope, that's just a regular trailer. Okay, so the Planet Destiny video does have the raid trailer available. And I think that's going to conclude our Court of Oryx reveal stream analysis. If you have any questions, I will be hanging around in the chat afterwards. I'm going to let this play, and I'm not going to talk over it. I'll be typing in the chat if you guys have any questions. Please direct them now. If you asked a question and I did not answer it in the stream, then please type it now, and I'll hopefully try and answer everything I can. So I'm going to let this trailer play out, and that'll be the conclusion of our reveal streams. Thank you so much for watching. If you've followed us since this stream launched, thank you for the support, and we're going to bring you lots of awesome content for Taken King. BBK Dragoon and I are talking about different things, different stream activities for Taken King. Taken King launched that first week. I'm going to be streaming as much as possible every single day, just Taken King content. And then once the raid comes out, yes, absolutely, we're going to have a raid stream ready to go. Hopefully we'll have raid team, but I'll be looking to do a raid stream as soon as it launches on that Friday. So thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy this little tidbit, and we'll catch you guys in the next video or stream. Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for the summer. We went from saying nothing about this game that we're putting out this fall to telling you a whole bunch about it, and in 2 weeks you're going to get to experience it all for yourselves. We've saved an awful lot. There are a bunch of secrets left, and as you know, all summer people ask us 2 questions quite a bit. They ask 2 questions about the raid. They ask us, what can you tell us about the raid, and when's it going to come out? We didn't answer those questions. We haven't told you anything about the raid, but today, just for you watching live, we're going to show you. Check it out.
Facing Oryx was never the end. Deep within the Dreadnaught, his horde draws breath. You cannot face this alone. 6 of you must rise and stand together as the king falls.